I've spent the morning here at Agent Jay and Brady Swanson's in Thief River Falls, and they have been super gracious sharing their processes and just some questions and kind of feedback on how they're feeling about Hawksoft. And the very first thing that someone in this office said to me this morning is, "How are you feeling about Hawksoft?" Excited. So that made me feel so just hopeful and excited myself for the conversion coming up in January. But I wanted to start today to make sure that I let everybody know on the call. I know that this is a process that really is exciting, but also like turns up a lot of anxiety, frustration, unknown. Things aren't going to look and feel the way that they've looked and felt in Eclipse. And I just want to thank you all for being on this journey with us. I know that at times we could have done a better job communicating, although we don't also know what we don't know, and we're learning right along with you. So just know that we've been advocating in the background with the programmer and making sure that we can get as much to convert as we possibly can from Eclipse into Hawksoft seamlessly with the digital process. So you don't have to touch things, we don't have to touch things, and that it's going to be as less chaotic or least chaotic that it's going to possibly be in January. So just want to thank everybody again for all that you're doing. And other than just a very few handful of people that haven't logged into Hawksoft, everybody's been in Hawksoft. I know sitting with Galen this morning, she has done a lot of work, watched a lot of the videos, a lot of the trainings. She was schooling me on certain things. And so I really want to thank you. Thank you for being on this journey with us. Linda Anderson is with us, our Hawksoft contact. She's going to be our resource person here to jump in if we have questions. I also have Audra Lisden, our information specialist 2.0, because Bev will be retiring at the end of the year. And Audra really has been the point person on the conversion, and she's quickly becoming the person that knows the most. The person that knows probably the second most is Emily Olson. Thank you for being with us, Emily. And she can jump in when needed to here today. What I want to accomplish today, and I have some questions that I put in the reminder for the meeting, and I have a few that have come to me through you out there in the field, and we'll address those questions after. But what I want to do is, I have the document that I sent you, the spreadsheet, which is kind of like the conversion, like the translation. What was an Eclipse called this is going to be called this in Hawksoft, and let's talk about whether it's going to convert and if there's anything that we need to note and to be mindful of. I want to go through this document line by line. We're going to pause after we talk about it just to see if you have any questions. The most important thing today, if you have questions, I need for you to unmute yourself and ask the question. We don't know if you have questions unless you let us know. So it's super important for me that everybody walk away from this meeting knowing at least one additional piece of information that's going to make you feel a little more comfortable with this conversion process. So with that, Audra, I asked Letitia to get the two systems up side by side, and she can kind of help us navigate. If you did want to illustrate anything, those two systems will be up. So with that, we're going to pull out our spreadsheet and start with the first item that's listed, which is insured, co-insured. Audra, will that convert?
Yes, that will. You will see the name of the insured and any additional insureds on that first page.
And Letitia, if you want to bring up the two systems side by side and maybe click on a customer. There should be some recent ones.
Do you want it in Hawksoft or Eclipse?
You can just bring it up on Hawksoft. There's some recent ones on the side there. Looks like Katie Pearson is up, just so we can see. Thank you. And so we have on the spreadsheet, Audra, it says name.
Yep.
So it was called insured, co-insured in Eclipse. And in Hawksoft, it's called named insured
Named insureds
and people.
and people. That is correct. And that will convert over, and you will see that on this tab, this person tab, this customer tab, whatever you like to call it.
Linda, what do you call this screen? Do you call it the customer
What-
screen?
Point at which one? The Hawksoft one?
Yeah, so
Client,
let me read
client screen.
client
Sure.
screen.
Client
Okay.
screen.
So like if I was gonna call into support and I would say like, oh, I would say I'm on the client screen.
Mhm.
That's what you call it?
Yeah, yes.
Okay.
Mhm.
Because in Eclipse, it's called the customer screen. So
Oh, okay.
we're trying to learn the new language.
Well, anything you put in Hawksoft is considered a client, whether you classify it as a vendor, a carrier, everything in Hawksoft's a client file.
Okay.
So,
So does anybody have any questions on insured, name insureds and people? Okay. So
now,
Audra,
on that Katie Pearson, are there other people involved in that account when you click on the people? On that, yeah, on that bar right there. I see Katie Pearson, but is she by herself there? If you click on people down in the detail bar, that light blue bar, click on people over there. No, go up a little bit, click on that one. Okay, so she's the only person in that account. Okay.
so if there was additional insureds, they'd be listed here.
Yeah, if there's more people in the account. Normally, if say she had a spouse and 2 kids and they were, and you could actually search for any names that are on those profiles next to that where it says Katie on the very top, right under the client since tab. You should see everybody in that account, and you'll also see the full list under the people as well. So I don't know about you guys, but I put everybody in the household into Hawksoft. I don't care how old they are. If they're 3 years old, I put them in, but that's up to you guys.
How will commercial accounts that have like the, say, ABC food truck doing business as
Mhm.
123 food truck, how do like DBAs come across if it's the company? And then, in some of ours, we have the ABC LLC doing business as, and then we put the primary insured, the name.
Go ahead and hit the insert button there, or else pull up a commercial account there if you can think of one.
Maddie, do you have a insured that's top of mind that Letitia could bring up?
Yeah.
Try
Okay.
Pico.
No, that one's
PICO
fine.
LLC.
So go in and do an action, a quick little action, because it's 10-star transport. Is there a chance that there is a DBA on that one? If there's not, I'll show you where to do, but go ahead and
Okay.
get into the hit action and remember, we don't recommend internal, but just go action, internal, change client. Now you see up there where it says we could put a DBA in there, and then the DBA would show up underneath on that client screen, the DBA. So there may not be
I
one.
was just curious. if
There may
they
not
would
be one for
transfer
this one, but
over.
Oh, say that again, Maddie.
I was just curious if the ones like in Eclipse, how we have primary insured DBA and then the second, if they would transfer over like that, or if just the primary transfers over.
I have
The
an
ones-
example. Hello?
Chris, you have an
Can
example?
you- Yeah, it's Equanimity Waves Massage. We have a DBA in Eclipse, so I thought maybe that might be helpful. For me, it would be.
And how do you spell that, Chris?
Oh, EQUANIMITY. Waves Massage, but that should work, yeah. And then the DBA is decompressed massage therapy. Okay. So it shows up right underneath.
Mhm.
Okay.
Perfect. Any other questions?
Now you
I
could
was won-
search for either equanimity or decompressant. Either way, it's going to pop up.
Okay, cool. I don't have an example right here. I can think of one, I'm sure, but I was wondering about addresses, like if we have a mailing address and a insured location. I'm not sure those will be able to download over, but
A mailing and or physical address, two different ones.
yeah, like the mailing address is different than the insured location.
I can't comment on conversions, but I would think so. But
Chris,
Audra, put
Yeah.
that on your
Yeah.
list just to make sure.
is the insured location on the policy detail, or where do you have it saved in Eclipse?
Yeah, that's just it is. I don't think it's in Eclipse anywhere, so I can't believe it would convert then, right?
Yeah,
No.
if it's a location saved on the policy level as an insured location, that will not transfer. And
Mhm.
so downloaded policies, we'll get to this later, but downloaded policies will eventually download. If it does not download, you'll have to add it in, but
Okay, that's what I thought. I just wanted to clarify. Yep.
You kind of have to think about, when we think about conversion, what I'm learning is if the information is in the skeleton of the system, more than likely it will convert. If it is in the organs and the soft mushiness of the inside, that's not going to convert. So it's on policy, if it's the information came through on a download, if it's not in a field in that skeleton of the system, is probably more than likely not going to convert. But like Emily said, we're going to talk about downloaded information a little bit later. So when we talked about address just now, the address we're talking about in Eclipse, Audra, then it's called
Mailing address. And it's right there in that upper left where Letitia's got her cursor.
and that will convert.
Click on that for just a second. Click on mailing address there. Because if you're going to copy, see that little blue thing with the dot in the middle? This is just a tip and trick for later. When you click on it, it'll map it for you.
Okay, so like Eclipse does.
I don't know if anybody's found that one yet or not.
I had one more question on addresses then. So if when the download happens, if the insured location does show up, it's going to show up on the client screen, or do we know where it's going to show up?
It'll show up on the policy level. In fact, click on
okay.
client and then click on policies. Whoever's working the computer, click on client and then click on policies. Can you make that bigger for just a second so you don't have to do a scroll bar there? Okay, see those columns you have there? See where it says address? So if the address is different than the mailing address, you're going to see the address on there so you can find it quick and easy. So say you had a customer that had multiple policies, dwelling fire policies, and they're all different addresses. You could easily access the correct one by showing that address field there. That makes sense?
Once it downloads.
Once
right,
it downloads,
okay.
yeah. Mhm.
Okay.
All right, when we think about prospects, so maybe we can go back to the main page, Letitia, on both systems. Or actually, we need a customer screen, I guess, right, Audra?
Yes. Just click on one of the recent customers in Hawksoft and that'll be fine. Okay, so prospects in Eclipse will be equal to client status in Hawksoft. And client status can be found, let's see here. In that middle.
Keep going. Go down. Now go down.
Yeah,
There you
right
go.
there, right in the middle. Right there in the middle where it says
Mhm.
status active.
And this is in Eclipse, right, Audra? This is where you
Yes.
can choose prospect,
Mhm.
active, obviously, because this one's active.
Correct.
What were the other options?
On
Uh,
the Hawksoft side or on the Eclipse side?
Hawksoft?
Inactive and prospect and commercial.
Well, status is either lead, prospect, active, or dead.
we're dead.
Those are your statuses. Now you've got different ways to under type. You've got commercial, personal lines there as well. Like this customer is a personal lines account
Mhm.
Well, no,
as
that
opposed
was,
to a commercial
that's-
account.
those are the choices we had in Eclipse. Yeah.
Yep, except
First.
for lead slash prospect. So Linda, can you just explain how an agency, what's the difference between lead and prospect?
Oh, okay. We consider, or most agencies consider a lead somebody, okay, I got your name, but I don't know you. I'm not working with you yet. You gave me your business card at an event and said, call me. So you put the business card in, that's a lead. Once I start having relationship with them, I move them to prospect. And then move them through my sales funnel from there. Like I'll do some discovery with them. It just kind of gets them out of that nowhere land of a lead, and we're actually working with those folks and their potential customer.
And the status would show prospect then
Mhm,
instead of
yeah.
active. Okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
Does anybody have any questions on coding the customer? The next line item, we had customer or inactive customers, and then you had
Yes.
Audra client status again in Hawksoft. So
Correct.
in Eclipse, we could either have it be a prospect or inactive, or like Chris was noting, it was a commercial account. So inactive will convert over to client status. Same field.
Those will probably show as dead customers then.
Yeah. If it's inactive over there, it'll probably show as a dead
As dead.
file over here. Yeah.
Okay.
For the status. Now, when you do the search, can somebody click that search button? There's an advanced search there. This is kind of just a general overview search. If you click enable advanced, I don't know if you guys have done that yet, but depending on your role at the agency, you might go, oh, we used to write them and I just only want to search archive clients, ones that I've taken out of my active database. I've archived them. Hopefully they'll come back again someday, but they're not active or anything. And then if you only do, you can also hit those little arrows by client types. I only want to search commercial accounts or personal accounts. There you go. Or client files, customers, vendors, carriers. So you could, some people leave that advanced open all the time. I tend not to, but that's just my role here at Hawksoft. I go off just the main one, but it does allow you to, and then you could also search by offices as well, depending on your office permissions there at the agency. So
are dead status clients considered archived clients?
I don't think so. I think you have to archive them in Hawksoft to be some data cleanup you may want to do later.
Okay,
We might check with Karina on that
I
one.
had a question.
so even if the status
archive-
is, sorry, Maddie. Okay, so even if the status is dead, it will still search, it'll still pull up when we
Mhm.
do a general search.
Yeah, and if you
Okay.
don't find it during that general search, just go search archived clients, because the general search is searching your entire database except clients you've archived.
Gotcha.
And archive
Okay.
just takes them out of that live search, just kind of cleans things up, that search up a little bit.
Okay.
Dylan, none of our customers transferred over archived, so.
Oh,
okay.
okay.
There you go.
Sounds good.
I think there actually were some though. That was where my question came in. When I did the spreadsheet for Audra, I had a couple that I had sent her saying, I don't think these transferred over, and then she found them under archived. So I guess my question was, at what point do they just become archived, or is there a specific list? Or Audra has my sheet that had that
Yeah,
one.
that's just
worked with-
however they're classified, I would say, in Eclipse is how they're coming
No,
over
Just
Hawksoft, so,
inactive.
yeah.
Maddie, I worked with Audra on that. You were looking for policies. So policies have come over archive, but not, I don't think we had any customers.
Oh, okay. I apologize. I misunderstood.
And Emily, what would constitute a policy coming over, like it wouldn't show? Is it, why would
I
it be
don't remember
archived?
in that exact situation if it was archived, but Letitia, if you hit cancel and then see that white filter bar on the dark blue line next to all the policies down, yeah, that. So right there, you'll want to, if you're not seeing a policy, you want to check right there first to make sure you have it showing canceled expired. If you don't have that checked, all the policies with those red X's will disappear. And the second a policy expires, so that day or the day after, it will put the red X immediately. So if you're not seeing something, always check your filters.
And I think on those ones, I think they stay there for 30 days.
Okay.
Yeah, right click on that blue bar again. Yeah, I think they stay there for 30 days. There we go. So if you want to
can
include
adjust it.
policies, put that, yeah, click on that and that'll leave them there for 30 days. Because if you rewrote them or something like, or if you're going to rewrite them, maybe you don't want them to disappear. Now, this is a really good idea during this initial test, during this initial onboarding phase. Leave all those there so you can double check them. But when you actually go live and you get more on a day-to-day basis, it drives me nuts when I got 20 red X's across my client file because I've rewritten them a long time. That's a user specific setting. So each person, if they want to see all the red X's, that's fine. If they don't, then they can readjust on those selections there. But right now I'd probably leave that. Just so you can, because you guys know your clients obviously better than we do. That way you can make sure things are coming over.
Great questions, love it. Next line item, we had customer producer in Eclipse.
And that transfers over to be producer. And you can see that right under agency ID. And right next to that is CSR. And in Eclipse, that was responsibility. Now it will be CSR. And then right next to that, you can see the office that the producer and the CSR belong to.
And so Audra, before the call, we were talking a little bit about the producer field on the client screen here in Hawksoft. So the producer here could be the contract agent, but it could also be a sub-producer. Correct, or a different or another user in our system. But on the policy level, Emily Olson reminded us, when we look at a policy, so can you click into one of the policies for Katie Pearson here in Hawksoft, Letitia? Thank you. So that agent 1 that you see, where it says STP, that needs to be the contract agent. On the policy level, it will need to be the contract agent. And we'll have more information about that in our workflows. But all of that will flow over, obviously, from how it is in Eclipse is what's going to flow into Hawksoft. So this Katie Pearson shows producer 1 as FUA insurance on the auto policy. In Hawksoft, what does it show in Hawksoft, Letitia, on the auto policy for Katie? And that's STP. STP, Audra, that must be the initials for FUA insurance.
That, yes.
St. Paul Hub. Perfect. Any questions on producers or agents at this point? We've already talked about the entity type a little bit. That would be, where would we find the entity type, Audra? You say it'll show up as business type.
That is going to show up as business type, and that is going to be, let's see here.
Letitia, do you want to bring up that commercial client?
Go back to equanimity.
Yeah.
Shoot.
Linda, where would we
And
find
click
the
on the
business type?
click on the building next to the E.
Building next to the, oh yeah. That has the FEIN number, the
That's awesome.
business type.
Where did you
What,
go to?
what are you,
Where'd
what are
you
you
hit
looking
that?
for exactly?
So we want, where would we find if it's an LLC or a corporation?
Oh,
I mean, it's in
yeah.
the name. It should say Inc., Corp, or LLC.
Hold on. Let's
But
see
if it
here.
doesn't, sometimes it
Like a sole
Right.
proprietor?
So when you are, I know like if you are entering a client manually and you click on the action tab and you get to the name and address and you click on the box next to business and then the type box with the drop down right next to it shows up and you have the options of corporation, individual, sole proprietor, family trust, joint venture, LLC, not-for-profit, partnership, and subchapter. So that is where you find the type.
Hey,
The entity
Audra,
type.
go ahead and hit the action internal change client follows.
Okay, that would
It-
be
it's just
Letitia.
faster. There we go. Okay, sorry about that. There's no type selected there, so you're going to
but
want to
that's where we would
select
Right.
find
one.
it.
Okay,
Yep,
so
so you
you're going
have
to
to
select
select
it.
that.
Now hit finish. And okay. It's fine. Just hit okay and finish. And if you want to put a note in there, it says change name and address, but if you wanted to detail it out, say update corporate designation or something like that.
And now you can see,
Yeah,
In
I'm
the-
gonna see if I can see where it pops up there. But yeah,
Yep.
go ahead and hit save.
it's on top of the buildings now,
There it is.
Yes.
LLC. So
There we go.
obviously in Eclipse, Equanimity didn't have LLC in the business type because it's supposed to convert. Can you look and see, Letitia, in Equanimity in Eclipse?
Where would it go in Eclipse?
Yeah, go on
I'm
the
looking at it
customer
here, hang on.
page of Equanimity.
Yeah, it says limited liability company.
Yeah, it says that. So we may want to make
Should-
a note of that to make sure that that in fact does populate into that field in Hawksoft. Because we have yes, that is converting. So this is a great example. If you are working with the client, this is the power of also working alongside it in your Hawksoft system. So if you see something that was in Eclipse and that is not in Hawksoft, just like this example. So we didn't have the business type in Hawksoft, so it did not convert in the data transfer. So that would be a good thing to let Audra know. But to that point, Audra, our window of opportunity working with Hawksoft is slowly closing or quickly
Correct.
closing.
Yes, no one put that on their audits.
Yeah, we didn't see that. So hopefully that was just a one-off that maybe perhaps you enter that after the data pull, but we'll cross our fingers. FEIN, I know we've already seen the FEIN.
Yep.
That's gonna convert over.
Mm-hmm, that is correct. And then just, you'll see all of this will be on this client page here. The email address will be there, the date of birth, age, social security number, driver's license, occupation. Those are all part of the contacts information. And if you have their email address, their date of birth, their age, their social security number, and their driver's license and occupation, if you have that populated in Eclipse, it will populate in HawkSoft.
Letitia, you'll want to click right there. Yep. Where it
Click
says
here.
contacts
Click
and it's
people.
underlined.
You can also click on people there, Audra,
Yep,
on the
people.
detail bar.
And that's what I was originally looking at, is all
Yeah.
of that information will transfer over.
You
From
probably
Eclipse.
want to, you probably want to add some columns there. Go to those 3 bars over on the right-hand side. You might want to put, did you have date of birth? You didn't have, I don't think you had social. So hit add columns.
Yep.
Add column there. So you might just type in social or do the drop down there and bring in some other columns too.
I don't wanna do that. Okay.
Just so, I had one guy call me one day, goes, Linda, the date of birth is on there. And I said, well, just open this up and add the column. Now, everybody's may look a little differently. This is a by user setting. So you can add, delete, rearrange these columns based on how each user wants to look at them. I wouldn't do it now. I'd do it after you go live because it won't save. But does that make sense? Because if
Yeah.
you don't
Yeah,
have
and
an
Linda-
email address on this client file, so there's no email there. You may not care about the employer's field. You might, but if I didn't care about it, I wouldn't include it. I'd take it out of there.
And this goes back to Emily's comment today, that if you can't find something, more than likely, that your settings just need to be adjusted. So here you can see like some of the information is there. It's just not showing because we had to add the columns. So
Mhm.
these are things that we'll be reminding you of once we go live.
But if you
If you're
double
not
click on
seeing
that,
something,
it'll pop up and show you everything on it.
If you double click on what?
Her name.
If you double click
Yes.
on Katie Pearson, what happened?
It's copied to the clipboard.
Down in the, where it says Pearson Katie, in the middle of the screen.
In blue, below the second
in the
blue bar.
people field.
Yeah, yep. So it'll show everything if you double click and open it, but
Perfect.
Mhm. But if you want to see it at a glance, add a column for it.
right, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. Then if you want to see it at a glance, then you can add the column, yeah.
Mhm.
So for a basic change or update, do you go into action then? Like if you need to update their phone number or their
Yeah,
address?
Karina's going to be getting into your tips and tricks where you're going to create hot buttons that makes your life just so much easier. If you remember when we were doing the demo, I had a hot button for a fix. I had a hot button for ID cards, one for COIs, one for Accord forms. You guys aren't quite ready for that yet. And besides, I don't think they would fix. I don't think they'd stay anyway. But you're going to create a hot button called fix that's just going to dump you right on that client file, and you can just start fixing that phone number.
And Linda is hot
Instead of
buttons-
going phone from insured, change client, it'll be 1 click instead of 5 there.
Linda, are those hot buttons at the agency level or individual settings?
No, those are, that's a global setting. It's on the global, everybody sees it. Hot buttons, everybody
Yeah, so
sees,
she'll probably
ex-
just set that up with Audra one-on-one, not in the
Yeah.
group session.
probably.
The
Yeah,
easiest-
and you can take suggestions. You can have as many of those as you want. Now, you don't have any external tools yet. External tools are non-carrier integration sites that you may want to go to, like Safer, NCCI, local, county assessors, taxing authorities. Those are computer specific. So Audra's list may be totally different than Linda's list on those, but your hot buttons are global. Everybody sees them.
The easiest thing that I have found to remember is that everything starts in HawkSoft with either your search, which is your little magnifying glass, or action, the lightning
Mhm.
bolt. That's how you have to start everything.
Mhm.
And if that's the one thing that you remember, is click on either one of those and you will then be able to get to what you need to get to.
Mhm. Yeah, you guys will be learning about HawkLink here pretty soon. I don't know if you probably haven't hit that yet in training. HawkLink, things
We
like
don't
that.
even learn, Linda, about downloads until the 7th of January. So
Yeah. Well,
know
HawkLink
nothing
isn't for
about downloads
downloads.
until
Yeah,
then.
HawkLink isn't for downloads. It's a direct
Right,
interface
right.
to, say a carrier, so you can print documents back to the client file. Just simple and easy
Right.
there. So you guys will be getting
Right.
into that future here pretty soon, I would
Yeah.
think.
So in the interest of time, our next one is date opened. And you will see that on the client screen as a client since. So in Eclipse, it was date opened, and in HawkSoft, it'll be client since. And you can see where Letitia has got her pointer right in the middle of the upper part of the screen. Okay, any questions? The next section of the spreadsheet that Robin sent out, this is going to be at your policy level. So Letitia, if you would just click on one of these policies, either work or package, thank you. And you can see the policy number in the bottom middle of the screen. And so policy number in Eclipse, well, policy number spelled out will now transfer to policy number character in HawkSoft. That does transfer over. Okay. The line of business in Eclipse will transfer over to be line of business / policy title. And let's see here, policy title. I just have to, yeah, there we go. Line of business, you can see it's a work comp. Okay. Company / broker in Eclipse will now be carrier / MGA in HawkSoft. And that's that very first column at the very top where Letitia has her pointer at. And you see it's with Travelers Insurance. The next in Eclipse, it was called NAIC code or writing company. And in HawkSoft, it will be writing carrier and NAIC. And so that will be on the screen. Let's see, where is it?
Right where your pointer is.
Yep, right where her pointer is. And then you can see the writing carrier and NAIC is on that second line below that.
Linda, what's the program when it says program there?
Travelers and St. Paul may have different tiers that they might write in. So there might be a certain program like specialty. I don't think St. Paul does have a program, but for example, if you wrote through, say you were writing a life policy, you got the carrier, you've got the writing carrier, and then you got preferred, standard, something like that. So in a lot of places you won't have a program, but it'll just be a repeat of the writing carrier. Now, if you wrote through an MGA, the MGA would be, I know Travelers isn't an MGA, but it would say Bloss and Dillard, and then the writing carrier would be Scottsdale or whoever they actually issued the paper through, so that the writing carrier transfers over to the certificates instead of the MGA name.
Robin, we haven't set up any of the programs yet because we don't really know any of them. So if someone wants something there or you don't see an NAIC code, just shoot Audra an email and we can get something added.
Click on carrier MGA that's got an underline under it. There you go. This gives everybody access. If you see contact information, click on that, and that'll bring up all the contact information that your team has put in there, so everybody can access that quick and easy.
So if you wonder what Audra's been up to,
But she's been doing a lot.
there's a lot of information in the background that we've been populating.
Yes. The next are all tied together. So in Eclipse, it was original inception date. In Hawksoft, it will be called inception date, and it's right in the middle of the screen there where Letitia has her pointer. And current effective date will be the effective date in Hawksoft. Current expiration date in Eclipse is now just expiration date. And the policy status equals policy status. And for this policy, you can see it's active. I believe we put that as variable because if it was a past renewal in Eclipse, it'll come over as expired in Hawksoft, I believe. Yeah, okay.
Yep.
So these are all pretty easy to, they transfer over pretty easily. And then you're going to have the billing method from Eclipse is now going to be called billing type. And that's over on that far right column where Letitia's got her pointer. And the current term premium, that is now going to be called premium plus fees. And we have the documentation and doc list from Eclipse. That's now going to be your log notes. And so if you click on logs there's all of the log notes. And Emily, did you want to say anything about the log notes and message box and any of that?
So the log notes all kind of came over pretty similar. I know a few of you were using, Eclipse had some type of like note or summary feature for threads. We are not seeing that came over. It imported everything as an individual line based on the actual documentation date. As far as the message box, we were able to get that mapped out. It all had to get mapped to the customer level. So if you had something in the message box, it will be on the client page and then notes. And then let's say you did have something on a policy level in Eclipse, it will have notes, policy number, and then it'll have what was on that message box. And then it's at the bottom, but this will be a big one that you will all want to work with Bev or Audra on. But alerts are not transferring. So if you use alerts on your customer pages, those are not transferring. There is no way for us to map it. Eclipse does have a report that is on this spreadsheet on how to run it. So you will want to run it to make sure you do not lose the data in the alerts box.
Correct. The last two items in this section, follow-ups from Eclipse will now equal tasks. And so that will be right there. Yep, this one does not have any tasks. And the follow-up statuses will transfer over. So for example, if it's open, it will remain open.
Mhm.
And then we had on the documentation doc list from Eclipse attachments. So that ties in with line item number 30, the log notes. So you'll find your attachments will be there. And the log notes will also be there at this policy level.
Audra, on that
Yes.
task tab, you'll see a list of all tasks for all policies for that client. If you click on your logs, you probably guys don't have probably much of an example now, but see that black clock over on the far left side?
Yes.
If a log note is open and it's got a task next to it, next to that log note will be a clock. Black clocks are current, red clocks are past due. So it gives you a color coded when you're looking at log notes. So you can go to the task tab, or you can just be on a log and look at it that way too.
All right, the last section of information that will transfer over from Eclipse to HawkSoft is, I believe you have to go back to there, thank you, to the policy information, the loss date. So, okay, now I gotta remember where we find it. I believe it's under claims. The claims, yes. So for loss
Letitia,
date,
do you want to search out the state office policy? Because I know that one has claims on it.
yeah, I was just thinking that. Makes it a little more.
Yeah, that one. Oh wait, the other one. This is a test. Oh, no, you wanted the middle one.
You're killing me.
There's too many.
I think
This
y'all are
one?
doing great.
Yeah, that one.
Did that one.
That one.
I think you actually hit the top on the first
Oh,
one.
never mind. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Here we
there
go.
you go.
And then go to claims.
Okay.
Nobody can judge us for our accidents at the state office, okay?
A lot of glass.
We did not get canceled.
So, so in this section in the claims, if you sorry, loss date from Eclipse is going to equal loss date in HawkSoft, and you have to click on the policy, the claim to get to the information that you need. And so this is perfect because the claim number in Eclipse will transfer over to be claim number spelled out in HawkSoft. And the same as claim policy number, that is going to be claim policy number in HawkSoft as well. Let's see, what do we? Okay.
Robin, does anybody need me for anything? I gotta go. I'm sorry. The
Thank
sick
you, Linda.
babysitter
Thank you
is
so
not
much.
helping me
Okay.
today. So does
No,
anybody
until
have something
next
quick
time.
for me? Any quick something? All good?
We'll see
Okay.
you next time.
Hey, you guys
Thank
take
you,
care
Linda.
until next
Thanks,
time.
Linda.
Thank you
Bye.
all. Appreciate you.
Okay, let's see, where were we? So the claim number, claim policy number, that is all claim policy number. So there's a claim number under claim information.
Claims, and then claims and settlement, yes or no, and in Eclipse is going to be claim status.
Yes, claim status. Okay, loss description is going to equal the damage description. So here you can see it was glass repair. Damage settlement date, settlement amount, and settlement payments. Those are all going to be, see, can you scroll down, Letitia? There we go. So settlement date will equal status date. The settlement amount will be the total paid. That's over to your right. And then the settlement payments will be payment information. And I believe all of that, because I can't see everything here, it should be all in this claims section. And whatever was in Eclipse will transfer over to Hawksoft. You'll also see the adjuster information. You can see who the adjuster was, his name, his email, his phone. So all of the adjuster information will be there. If it was in Eclipse, it'll transfer to Hawksoft. The certificate holder name list, that's now going to be called the certificate holder database. And Letitia, I need you to close out of this and then click on the little cog gear in the upper right-hand corner, please.
Say, Audra, I have a quick question just on those claims here, because when I filled out all of those, you know, the sample ones that we were looking at, I had almost no claims that transferred that I know policies had claims on. So was there any other issues with those not coming through for people? I mean, I found very few that I know had claims that actually came through.
This was a delayed programming. Have you rechecked them like within the last week?
Yeah, I mean, I'm in Hawksoft like right now, just looking for claims. And I mean, I've tried both at the client level as well as in the policy, and I just do not see them in there.
Send Audra some names and we can look into it again.
Yeah, send me some names and I'll look into that, okay?
Okay.
Thank you. Okay, so if you click on the cog.
The what? But I'm sorry.
The gear.
You have
top
your
right.
cursor on it. Yep.
Right here?
No, up. The cog, the little wheel next to the person and the question mark. Yeah.
Oh.
There you go. Click on that. And you can see right in the middle, there's additional other interest certificate holders database. If you click on that, you will see that this did not convert at the policy level, but it converted at the agency setup level. So this will have all of the certificate names, addresses, and the other information. If you move the scroll bar to the right, it'll have what we had in Eclipse is now this. You'll still have to fill out an accord form, but you won't have to fill out this portion. We were able to get our programmer to have this added into Hawksoft.
And just a note on certificates, because I know that that's been a real worry for some of you. When we think of certificates, your template in Eclipse is not going to magically convert. So there's a template in Hawksoft. So best practice should be, if you produce a certificate, those certificates should be documented in Eclipse documentation. So you're going to want to make sure that if you have a template for a customer in Eclipse, that you're saving that certificate, taking a screenshot, attaching it into a documentation entry, because we know 100% for certain that documentation with the attachment is going to convert into Hawksoft. So at least you'd have a copy of the certificate in your documentation. Well, it'll be log notes, right? In Hawksoft, it will be there. It will live there. And now another side note on that, I know a lot of people have been asking me what converts, what doesn't convert. I'm worried about this. I would say that if you're thinking about something and you're worried that it's not going to show up in Hawksoft, whether that's a template or a documentation or a piece of information, I would make sure that that information gets its way into documentation. because we know that 100% that's going to convert and it will live there until you need it. Also remember, we are going to maintain our Eclipse system at the state office level for a period of time. And we haven't quite determined how long that will be. And Audra will have access to that. So the information up until December, what day are we doing data transfer,
The
Audra?
20, we've told, I think what's been communicated on the welcome page of Hawksoft is the 29th is when our last full set of data files from all 3 databases will be sent to Hawksoft. After that point, any changes that you make, anything that you need to add, you are going to need to keep a log of it so that when we are up and running with Hawksoft on the 6th of January, that you can go in and enter in that information. Anything from the 29th, between the 29th of December and the 5th of January, I should say, is all going to need to be manually entered.
And so if you have a worry, if it's keeping you up at night or you're stressed or you're thinking, I want to make sure that this information is at my fingertips, then I would either save it to your local machine, put it in documentation as an attachment, or print out a hard copy and have it in your just in case file. But know that there will be a resource in Audra. We will have access to Eclipse after the 29th when we end operation in Eclipse. She'll be able to look up things for you if need be.
Absolutely. I know we have just a couple of minutes left. I just wanted to mention that the producer 1, 2, and 3 and the message box, we've covered that. And the customer cross-reference in Eclipse is now called Client Links. The next section under that is all of the things that we have found that do not convert from Eclipse. And there's notations in, I believe it's column E, about like downloads will begin post-conversion. But like I said, I don't even get training on downloads until the 7th of January. So I have no clue what that's going to entail and what that's going to be like. And please do make sure that you run that report in Eclipse for the alerts, because that will be helpful for you post-conversion.
And you can see that that's listed. So to run a report in Eclipse, you go to reports, utilities, and then it's the alerts report.
That's correct. And you definitely want to have it saved to your doc list. If you can save that to your doc list, and that will come over.
And then Audra, Eclipse letter and email templates, you have a note. If there is one that you want transferred,
yes,
let Audra know. So
if there is a specific one that you use all the time and you would like to have that, once I'm completely done with setting up all of that background carrier information in Hawksoft, I'm going to be starting to put folders in the template section of Hawksoft for every agency office. And we can go ahead and put specific templates that you use for your agency in those folders so that they will be available to you after conversion.
And then speaking of those of you at the Katna or Johannes, if there's templates you guys use, either send Audra a copy or she can walk you guys through how to add those into Hawksoft so that you don't lose those.
This was a lot of information, but I think that it was very good. We're starting to dive in and getting a little bit more specific, and I'm hoping that this more specific information is useful to you and kind of spurs everyone to get into the system and to look at this list. I think it's a great exercise. We just showed you, like, even just to find the different fields in Hawksoft is very useful for all of us users. We just get familiar with where to find things. I know sitting with Dalen this morning, she's their point person here for the Jay Swanson Agency. She has watched a lot of the training videos, and it appears it's very, very helpful. Like I said before, she's schooled me on some things. So I think we're making progress.
Sure, I understand.
Oh, Siri does not sure if she understands. I want to thank everybody for being on the call. If you have questions, if this has spurred questions, please send them to me or Audra, and we will follow up. I know Grant will, Audra will be watching for an email about your claims, some specific examples, because we have worked with the programmer and those claims should be converting. So we want to make special attention to that. So Grant, please send Audra an email. Thanks, everybody. It's 2:30.
I have one thing to add in.
Yes, Emily.
I've said it on multiple meetings. I strongly encourage you all to use that Hawksoft Facebook group in the Hawksoft community. That you can ask anything, you can read through it. There's a lot of good information. CSR's agents from around the country, so use that.
And in that Hawksoft community, you can search key terms too. So like you can look for similar, search key terms, and you can probably find an article or someone that's brought it up before. That that Hawksoft community is really, really helpful.
Any parting words, Audra?
No, it's just, it's a lot of information. And even I'm looking at Hawksoft every day. It's still a familiarity where it's, oh, where do I go again? What do I look at? So it's not instantaneously for me. I still have to kind of stop and think, like, where did I find that information? Oh yeah, I click here. So don't feel like you're not, on top of it. You guys are. It's just, it's a lot to learn in a short period of time, and I'm still learning too every day.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks for your time. We'll watch for your questions and your feedback, and we'll see you next month when we'll talk more about Hawksoft. Thanks, everybody. Don't forget.
Bye.
Bye.